Welcome back. We are on the 9th of July. We are in the midst of the preseason for Mendiola FC. So I'm going to talk about some new signings I've made this preseason, how I've made those signings, and what's coming up next for this season. And essentially, we'll pretty much just go through the entire preseason. I'm not going to show the friendlies or anything, but I will go through the rest of the preseason pretty much until the start of the new PFL season. So right now, we're 2 matches into the preseason. We've done pretty well. As we can see here, we have about 9 friendlies, and the reason for those 9 friendlies is if I go to the dynamics, we've signed a bunch of new players, so team cohesion is poor. Club atmosphere is getting better, but as you can see here, players need to form those relationships. You get that by playing. So we're trying to continue to improve those things. Given that we're a semi-professional club, the best way to do that is just by playing matches. And as we can see with the training schedule, match tactics, team bonding, getting in 2 games per week, this is going to be the best way for us to continue to improve that team cohesion and club atmosphere. The more we do that, the better we'll be, the better spot we'll be going into the season. And on July 1st, we got the inbox notification that clubs in the Philippines had released a bunch of players. So we went through this list and then we went through and looked at every single player that was released in the Philippines. So there was a bunch of players that retired. If you can see down here, Daniel Matsunuga was actually one we had on loan. Jerry Barbaso, one of our players, had retired as well. But we had a bunch of people here who were on a free. So we just went through and we were able to sign a bunch of these players. A few of them I would still love to sign. The big one who's still available is Kurt DeZon, who still hasn't found a team yet. I would love to sign him, but when I go look and approach to sign, he has absolutely no interest in entering negotiations with our club. He's the one I would love to sign, but we've gone through and signed a bunch of these players. I will introduce you to them probably at the end of this episode. We'll go through and look at all of the new signings. But just as a brief prelude, as you can see here, we have a lot more Philippines players, which is going to be huge for us as far as being in continental competition when we can't have as many foreign players playing. And the ability of our squad is a lot better comparatively. I don't know how much we've improved the starting 11. It's definitely improved, but I wouldn't say it's improved a whole lot. But what we have improved is our squad depth, which is going to be hugely important given that we are in, if we go to competitions, that we are in the Asian Confederation Cup and we are entering directly into the ASEAN Zone group stage, which means we're going to have at least an extra 6 to 8 matches that we don't normally have. And we need Filipino players for that because we can't have as many foreign players. We will also be in the PFL Cup, which we'll try to go back to back in. And we only have to finish mid-table in the Philippines Football League for the board. But I think we can do better than that. I think we can be competitive in a lot of these competitions. We're going to have games, so we're going to need that squad depth. And looking at the Philippines Football League, once again, we're actually predicted to finish 4th, which I do think we're better than that. Interestingly, Kaya aren't supposed to win this year. It's supposed to be Stallion, but we're close. We're in and around. I think we can win the league again this year. If we can continue to dominate in the Philippines, we'll continue to get better. We'll continue to make more money, and we will hopefully start to do well in Asian continental competition. But something I have waited for. We have a big squad now, which means there are a number of players on the fringe. If we go to finances with our new signings, you guys can see here, we have almost no transfer budget or payroll budget available, just 7, even if I move this up. It's not a whole much. I want to keep that just in case I find someone who I really want to sign. So that means to free up some payroll budget, we are going to be letting some people leave. Notably, Joki, who I think was really good for us last year. 4 goals, 1 assist, but he came in good towards the end of the year. But he's not Filipino. He's 34 years old. He's declining pretty significantly. And we are quite good in the central midfield position. We have him as an important player. He's really not going to get that game time. Despite how much we like Joki, we're going to have to release him. So we are releasing a few players for this episode. We're saying goodbye to them. But Joki, a player we love, a player who's been really good for us, but we are releasing him on a free. Goodbye to one of our best. The next player we're releasing is Abdul Aziz Tamit. As you can see, he's 35 years old. He's supposed to be a regular starter. He's just not going to play so much. Pace is declining. Everything's declining. We're looking to bring in new center backs. Tamit, he played 19 games for us last season, scored 3 goals. He's another one who's leaving. We are releasing him on a free. That's it. The final player I'm looking at releasing is Abdulaziz Abdulhamid, another Bruneian. Someone we brought in last year, but he's just not going to play. He's a regular starter. He's on 40 pounds per appearance. But we're retraining Van Diaz, as you can see here. We're retraining him to play as a right defender. We also have Rosli in that position. Frankly, I just don't see a spot for Hamid anymore. He did play with us towards the end of last year. He wasn't great. We brought him in because one of our other players left. I just don't think he's going to play. I don't think we need him. We're releasing him on a free as well. It would be nice if we could actually sell these players, but obviously they're on non-contract, so we won't. And the final one, he's on the cusp. I'm not going to release him yet, but he's on the cusp. Ricky Cruz, who I don't think played well last year, but he could be good. He's got 12 finishing, 11 first touch, 12 pace, 9 off the ball. Like there's something there. There's a player in him. But we have new strikers, especially with Sayang Sissoko. We have Jung Hyun. We brought in a guy named Jinker. We have good players in that position. I'm gonna keep him on the team for now, but there's a good chance by the end of preseason he will be leaving. So again, there's the official news that those players have left. It does open up now 140 pounds per week for us to play with. We can bring in one more player who's really good if we see him. But the goal for this episode is to get through preseason, improve our team, and we're gonna go for loans. We're gonna look for some free loans. And hopefully by the end of this preseason, we will have a team that's ready to challenge on all fronts. And I'll pretty much do for loans is I go to the best teams in the league, I go to their playing squad, and anyone who's kind of a fringe player is likely to want to come. So any of these backups, fringe players, breakthrough prospects, etc. So we just look, and I just kind of look and see like how is Kenry. We don't need a goalkeeper, so I won't really look there. I don't think we need a DM, but we'll look to see if he's any good. I don't think he's good enough to really go for, so we'll move past him. We wouldn't mind an AML. He's not terrible. Um, we will stick a scout report on him, actually, John Solis, just to see what he might look like. We're really looking for like center backs and potentially a left or right mid, like Nicholas Farr is not a terrible looking player, actually. Can we get a comparison on him? Compare with, and let's play him with Albino or Almento. Let's see what he looks like. I tell you what, this guy's not bad. We are going to stick him, add to shortlist loans. We're developing a loan shortlist right now, and we will see who we can go in for. So this is pretty much what I'm going to be doing. I won't bore you with all the details of it, but we'll continue to move forward, and I'll see you later on. All right, we're about a week later, and I think I'm going to end up releasing Ricky Cruz. He's a squad player. I don't think I can give him that playing time. I actually feel bad for him. I'm letting him rot on the bench. I signed him from East Timor. He played 13 matches, but he's just not going to play this season. We have different players we want to try, even though I think there's something there. I just I can't find a place for him. So his contract is 70 pounds per appearance. I don't think he's ever going to play. He's literally showing up. He moved to a new country. He he's not going to make any money. I mean, he needs to go to a team where he's going to play. He's going to make money. It's going to be better for his life. So we're releasing Ricky Cruz on a free. I'm sorry, mate. It didn't work out, but I wish you to go on to bigger and better things. Yeah, it's the right thing to do for both player and club. I'm disappointed that I didn't get the best out of Ricky Cruz, but I'm sure he will be better for it. The nice thing though is that does leave us with about 200 pounds per week in the transfer budget. So if we see someone that we really want, that does give us some room to play with. All right, we are at the conclusion of preseason. We've had a good preseason. I think we've done pretty well in the games. We also had a pretty good preseason last year, so that should bode well for us, possibly even a little bit better this year. And because of the preseason, now we have average team cohesion, which I like. We have a good club atmosphere, which I like. Leadership support is good. So everything is looking good going into the season. Our first match is going to be 2 days against ADT. That is going to be the next episode. But with that in mind, we finished the preseason. Let us introduce you all to the squad and the new signings. And here are all our new signings for this season. We will go through them one by one, starting with Park Kuhl. We signed him on a free from Forza, which is one of the lower division teams. Park Kuhl is going to be a good player. He's going to be a fixture in our squad, 3.5 stars. He is going to be a central midfielder on attack. Song Ji-hun is going to be the ball-winning midfielder on defend, or the defensive midfielder. Park Kuhl, very good mental, solid physicals, good pace and jumping reach, which I really like. We can use that for those late runs into the box to connect on crosses. Decent passing, good technique, good vision. He is going to be an excellent player moving forward. Next up is a youngster, Jamie Cruz. We signed him on a free from Stallion, who I think the game undervalues. I really like him. He doesn't have any stars and he's only going to 2.5 star potential ability. But I just think he's got the makings of a good center back. At just 16 years old, he's going to improve. He's got decent heading, marking, and tackling for this level, and he's on the way to having good physicals. He doesn't have terrible jumping reach. That's going to continue to improve. Pace and strength will continue to improve as he gets older. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about is positioning, but otherwise, like he has good work rate, good aggression. I think he's a good player. I think he can even play in the team now. If I compare him to, let's say, Conan Kofi, like he doesn't have the heading marking yet, but he's better tackling, better work rate, comparable physically. So I think he's going to be a good player. I plan to incorporate him in the team this year, and he'll definitely get better. Next up, Stanley Ankra. I really like this guy. We're going to play him as a wingback on support. He's a fantastic player. Him and John Rancis are going to be on the left side. Von Diaz, who was our backup, I've moved him to train over on the right to be our backup right back for Rosli. But Ankra's a great player. I really like his physicals. His physicals are where he shines. Great pace, great stamina, good acceleration. Players aren't going to get past him, and he has good tackling. He's going to be a fantastic player. Him and Roncis are going to rotate on that side. We didn't always have that. We do now. Next up, a youngster, 19-year-old Romeo Cooper. We've brought him in for the future. He's got the makings of a decent central mid on attack. He's going to continue to improve. Good physicals. Technicals are coming through as well. He will be good. A player we signed on a free who we're really excited about, Okiagu. We had him last year on loan. We've brought him back. He was good last year. He's going to be good again this year. We needed him to shore up our defense, and most importantly, because we need that physically imposing player. He's got the jumping reach, strength, and pace to help us out quite a lot. Next up, we brought in lots of Filipinos on a free, a lot of older players, but a lot of players who are still good, one of them being Marwin Angeles. He's going to back up Park Kuhl, maybe even start a number of games, and he will definitely start in the Asian Confederations Cup when we need Filipino players. He's a good player. Good technicals, good first touch for this level, good passing and vision, also good tackling and technique. He can do a little bit of everything. Pace is going down and physicals are going down, but he's essentially our replacement for Joki. He is a very similar type of player with his good technicals and mentals, but he's Filipino. He's 1 year younger. He's going to do what we need him to do, and he helps us meet squad registration rules for Asian Confederations Cup. Next up, Arda Sinkir. This is the player I'm most excited about. So much so that we're going to look at the tactic after this. We're flipping things around to accommodate him. We are playing him in forward, but I don't know what it is about him that makes me excited. Because he's not particularly quick, but he just seems good. He's got jumping reach and good heading, which I think is a combination we need to be successful. He's got great finishing, decent off the ball, good flair. He's like a technically and mentally really exciting player for this level. I really like him. I've got him in on an exorbitant amount of money. Last year, he was playing for Aguilas. He only got 4 goals, but I think we can get more out of him. If we look at his preseason form, he's been good. He got 5 goals in a match where he wasn't playing a very good team. But we saw last year as well that our preseason strikers did well and they didn't do well in the league. So I'm hoping he will do well. I think he could fix our striker problems with Jeong Hyun. Next up, Michael Atienza. This is a center back. Again, we needed a center back. We needed Filipino players. Atienza is one who's going to be good. We've brought him in from Army in the Philippines. He was a free transfer, released on a free, I believe. We only have him on impact sub, but I think he'll end up doing more. The only thing I don't like about him, he only got 5 jumping reach. Like if he had 10 jumping reach, he would be absolutely amazing, but then he probably wouldn't be in our squad. Probably Kai or someone would have picked him up. But good tackling, good marking, good heading, good pace. Like he has all the makings of a really good center back. Him and Conan Kofi will switch back and forth. We'll need Okiagu to provide that physical presence, but I think he can help out. Next up, a player I'm really excited about, Angelo Verheye. This is a good player. He's got caps for the Philippines. I think he is our captain or vice captain. He's got good leadership and teamwork. He's going to be playing with Almento in this role here as a winger on support. He had a good preseason, good dribbling, good crossing, good enough pace. I think he's really good. I really like him. He's good technically. He can play all up and down and right. He's going to be a lovely player for us. After that, we also brought in Nathaniel Alquiros. Good player. He'll play in the center of midfield. We've got him as a fringe player. He's going to kind of be a backup. He'll be with Angeles as well. Again, another jokey type player. Good passing, okay vision, good work rate and first touch, technically adept. Physically, he's pretty good too. I like him. He'll back up Kuhl and Angeles, but this is going to be an important player to have around again for Asian Confederations Cup competition. And then finally, Simon Rota. Again, he's an emergency backup, but another player I've brought in for kind of Asian Confederations Cup competition. He's 40 years old, so he's only going to get worse. But I still like him. Like he has good pace, decent physicals. He's very good mentally and decently good technically. He can play a lot of roles. I think he's a good player to have on the bench to kind of bring on at the end of matches. He's got good tackling, good passing. Like he has a lot of things that I really like. He's only 2 stars. I think he's better than this, and he's actually played decently well in preseason. So I look forward to having him in the team. And the last player we brought in towards the tail end of last season was James Eje. Again, Filipino, we need kind of central defenders and defensive mids. I think he fits that role well. Good tackling, good marking on the heading and jumping reach, though, which is what worries me a little bit and not great strength. But we've got him in as a fringe player. If I don't have him already, now that we have new players, I'm actually going to train him to be a central defender on defend and he'll essentially be a cover option for us. But those are all the new signings, and this is what the team is going to look like going into the season. It's very similar. Like our back four is exactly the same as last year, same goalkeeper. Jihan is going to be a defensive mid on defend. The only things that maybe are changing is I'm going to start Verhege in the first game. I like Angeles. He'll start instead of Kuhl, but Kuhl will definitely come on. And then the big change is Jonghyun's going to move to our advanced forward, and Sinclair is going to move to our poacher. Again, there's just something about him. I want him in that role. I think Jonghyun can excel in the advanced forward role. So hopefully that will keep up the goal scoring prowess in this team. The other news is since Seo-hun left, Albano will take over the left attacking mid role, which I think he's going to do well. I mean, he's got good pace, good physicals. Importantly, 15 jumping reach with only 4 heading, but we're kind of tailoring the tactic right now to be able to get in crosses to these players. So he's an inside forward, so he's going to go in. We have Jonghyun and Sinclair. So Sinclair has a jumping reach of 12. Jonghyun has a jumping reach of 12. Albano has a jumping reach of 15. And then with Verherier potentially putting in crosses to them, I think that's going to be really good for us as far as scoring goals. We have 3 really good players who can attack a ball, attack across well. So hopefully all those things together will make us a really good team. We also have a lot of depth now, which I think is something we haven't always had. But Ankara will play with Ronsis here. Van Diaz, I'm training to play the right back position, so he's going to help out with Rosli. We have Kul, Angeles, Jihan. We have Alquinho somewhere down here. Like we have a lot of players who can play in the central mid and defensive mid positions. Romeo Cooper as well. Where we're a little bit lacking, I would say, is probably this position here and maybe the center backs. We have a lot of depth, but I don't know, like, we don't have a lot of physical depth. Like, Okiagu is the only real good physical player. And then we have Albino here. If he goes down, we'll have to bring in Sylvanas, who's pretty decent. I just, like, never really play him, so he's never really match fit. Maybe I'll need to play him more this season to help with that game time. But how has he done for me, actually? Can I look at his form? I don't know if maybe he's been good. Maybe I should give Sylvanas more time just to help out with that position. But otherwise, that is pretty much our team. We also have Badia and Tolentino here. Badia is suspended for the first match because of yellow card accumulation, but he will be incorporated into the team as well. Again, he's only 15 years old. Tolentino's our youngster who came through last year as well. I'm not really sure exactly where he's going to fit into the team, but we'll find something for him. We will make sure he gets game time as well. But that is pretty much what the team looks like. I think it's a solid team going into the season. If we look at the season preview, I think we're expected to finish fourth, 33. Why not? I'm surprised that's it. Maybe Stallion or one of them's gotten better. But I fancy us to win the league again. I think we're going to do well. I think we're a great team. So hopefully we've still got that in us. The other big news will be when we start playing kind of Asian Confederations Cup competition. It looks like the group stage starts at the beginning of September based on when United City played last season. So they started September 18th. So looking at our schedule, it should be starting relatively soon. Oh, it'll be sandwiched between United City and Kaya potentially. That's going to be tough. But that's our preseason. We've had a good preseason. I think we have a good team going into the season. So I think next episode, I think we'll leave it there for this episode. Next episode, we'll play ADT and Stallion. And then after that, we should have a pretty interesting series of games. I'm debating, let me know how you guys would think of it, but I'm debating going to 2 episodes per week just to help get the series moving on a little bit more. So maybe we'll release it on like Tuesdays and Thursdays or something like that. Maybe it'll already have happened by the time this episode releases. But that's everything we've got. Should be fun going into the season. We still have room to make more signings. If we look at the finances, we have like £200 per week. So that could potentially be in the future. But right now, I like the team. I like the direction we're going in. And I think we continue on with what we've got. But all right, that's everything. We've gone through the whole preseason. We are getting ready to start season 3 of the Mendiola FC Save. If you're still here, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for watching this and the support. This has been a really fun save, and I'm excited to see where this goes. And of course, we also had the Philippines too. This episode was more Mendiola, but we're going to have a busy beginning of this September with potentially matches with the Philippines, World Cup qualifying, Asian Confederations Cup, the League, and the PFL Cup. So things will really pick up around that point. But again, thank you for watching. I hope you all are having a wonderful week, and I will see you all soon. Bye.